Welcome back to the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast with my good friend Pat Kelsey of the Charleston Cougars. He sports a 6-1 record right now as Cougars won 3 in a row in the Charleston Classic. It was the first time the College of Charleston won its home classic. Coach, welcome back.
Hey, Ken, thanks. Appreciate you having me on. It's good to talk to you again.
Good to see you as well. Take us through winning that classic and your thoughts, as you guys came out to cut the nets, had a championship win over Virginia Tech.
Yeah, first of all, this is a privilege to be on with you. And part of your job is to ask me these questions about what just happened. But I'll be honest with you, my 100% focus is on the next thing. And that's the same focus that our guys have. We have a very, very, very good Old Dominion team that's very well coached, strong physical, one of the best rebounding teams in the country. So I've been consumed with preparation of that. It's been nice that we've had a little bit of a break where we could actually practice again. We had a gauntlet of a schedule early on, starting with Chattanooga here, and then we had Carolina, and then we had Richmond, and then we had Davidson, then we had Colorado State, and we had Virginia Tech, and then we had, in my opinion, one of the best mid-majors in the entire country in Kent State, and those came fast and furious. So we were so caught up on preparation, right, keeping our guys fresh, preparing, scouting, that we've had a little bit of a break where we've been able to recover our guys' bodies, but then also get back to practicing, which is really, really big. But you ask about, the Classic couple days ago. First of all, it was great for our city. It was great for our university. The Classic in general puts our city on a stage and a spotlight that the nation can see. And it's such an extraordinary city. So for national television to be locked in for several days on this event is awesome. We never won it before. So for us to actually do it, and there's such a buzz in the city when the Classic is going on, the setting of our campus is unbelievable. You have King Street, some of the best shopping and restaurants in the world, just to see all the different alums, all the different fans from all the schools buzzing around downtown Charleston is awesome. But then, for the college, they call us the College, which I think is an awesome nickname. To have a great run and to win those first 2 games, to be playing in the finals against an ACC champion, it just added another dimension of energy to our city and to downtown and to our campus. The fans came out in a major, major way. Students came out in a major, major way. We had an advantage. I mean, these are supposed to be kind of neutral site events, but we're the host and we get to play in it every 4 years. So, for Davidson and Colorado State and Virginia Tech to have to play not only against what I think is a really good team, and I think we are a good team, but also to have to go up against 5,000 people in a packed TD arena. And when our arena is like that, it's one of the best atmospheres in the country. So it was a great advantage, but it was awesome for our program, our city, and our university.
Yeah, I was curious about, you play 3 games in 4 days like that. How do you put together those game plans? It sounds like it's like a pivot almost. It's so quick. And then are you able to come up with the quick turnarounds after you see some of those people live?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge that everybody has to endure in tournament play. And I think it's great preparation for March Madness, right? For conference tournament, for the NCAA, for quick turnarounds, quick preps, quick scouts. And that's part of the challenge, right? It's making sure your guys are fresh and making sure their recovery is proper, but then also making sure they're prepared. And it's a fine line between over preparing and under preparing, and trying to find that right mix and that rhythm is a challenge. But I think I give my coaching staff a huge tip of the cap and huge credit for the way that, that our guys were able to prepare in a short amount of time. I think I have one of the best coaching staffs in the country. Obviously, Brian Cloman's been with me forever, universally respected, as is in college basketball, as is Thomas Carr. Mike Cassidy, who's an Australian assistant that might not be as well known in the States, but internationally, he's very respected. He was the head coach of the Albert Schweitzer team which is the world championship competition, I think 17 or 18 and under for Australia. So in the national pipeline, he's unbelievably respected. And then my support staff, our DBO, Mitch Johnson, our director of player development, Jermaine Ukegbu, both elite, going to be head coaches someday at the Division I level. Braden Connor, our graduate assistant, Colin Garrett, who was the head manager to Frank Martin at South Carolina, does an unbelievable job. Hopefully I'm not missing somebody, but I just want to make sure those guys get the credit and the attention they deserve, because they work their tail off every day and they make me look smart, which Ken is very, very, very difficult to do.
Hey, you've got 9 kids there on your team that are scoring in a cluster. They're between 11.7 points per game, with leading scorer Ryan Smith, and then 6.4 from Jalen Scott. Talk about the balance of scoring and then how that happens inside your offensive philosophy.
I do want to go back and mention Tom Popovac, who played for me at Winthrop, who does all of our creative social media and stuff like that. I know that wasn't your last question, but
that's
Tommy's
cool.
world class as well. You mentioned our depth. We play 10 guys, and we have very balanced scoring. It's unique, I think, Ken, in today's day and age to have that. It takes a special group, which we have. It takes a selflessness, a commitment to what we call the power of the unit, which is the uncommon commitment to the guy next to you. It permeates everything we do in our program. The locker room is led by players. Our program is led by players. I say all the time that, I didn't make this up, but I heard this from somebody before, somebody much smarter than me, that good teams are coach-led and great teams are player-led. And we could go all the way down the list. You mentioned a couple guys, but we've had multiple different leading scorers in games. Our big thing is relentless effort, competitive excellence, and the power of the unit. And relentless effort's playing as hard as you can all the time. And when you do that, you get tired. And when you get tired, somebody else comes in and plays with the same toughness and ferocity and grit. And when you do that, and guys believe in it, you can wear down your opponents through your depth. And I think that's one of the things we do.
Yeah, Ryan Smith, it's 2.7 made threes per game, and that's huge. That's going to get the attention of your opponents, as they try to guard him on the perimeter. Talk about how he finds those. Is that something he looks for in transition? Do you set it up in the half court? How does that work?
Rain Smith is one of the better shooters in America, and all of the above, right? Our guys have a great sense for where he's at, right? Finding him in transition when he can get lost at times. In our half court offense. Our guys do a great job of finding him, and he's an elite shooter. The times in the games where people really, really, really try to stay clinged on close to him, obviously, they may take him away, but it opens up the floor and space for other people. And just with how potent our offense is, I think all the way down our roster, it's hard just to key on Rain because it opens up things for other people. But he's a very selfless player as well. He's not out there saying, yeah, they're face guarding me, they're denying me. You've seen a boxing one. He just shrugs his shoulders and goes, okay, good luck. There's going to be a lot of other space on the floor for other guys. And that's part of the power of the unit mentality.
Yeah, you got a post situation. It's power of the unit as well with Dalton Bolin and Pat Robinson III. 2 big keys in the middle. So how do they operate inside with your prolific 3-point game? Does it open up?
Yeah,
you would imagine.
We play a very positionless type basketball, which is modern basketball.
Sure.
I don't think I'd consider Dalton and Pat inside guys, but the nice thing about what they can do, and many guys on our roster, is they can affect the game from a scoring standpoint in many ways. Both of those guys can can put pressure on the rim, can attack the rim, can score close to the basket. They can play in the open court. They can both shoot. And I think having as many people on the floor that can dribble, pass, and shoot as possible is so important. I don't believe in actual, old school positions. I believe you are what you can guard. And I didn't make that up. Another coach said that one time. That's much smarter than me as well. Most people are. But you are what you can guard. So many times a 5 wants to be a 1. Well, can you guard a 1? A 4 wants to be a 3. So I think having position versatility is important, and it's a strength and it's a benefit of our team.
Yeah, very, very good assertion right there, because I've often wondered about that and if that affects team by team, or if it's something that's across the boards.
Yeah, I mean, I think having guys that can guard multiple positions is really important. And
Sure.
You could go down our roster and I think one thing we hang our hat on is toughness and grit. And if you're going to be able to guard different positions, whether it's inside or out, you got to have a disposition of toughness about you. And to wear a Charleston uniform, you have to have that as well. We got a team full of guys that are that way, and they're a joy to coach.
I know about Ryan Larson. He knows the three-point game well, as he was at Wofford, who differentiated himself a lot of times with the three-point game. He leads you in assists at 3.4 per game. Just talk about how he proliferates himself inside of your system.
Yeah, Ryan came to us as a very experienced player that was very well coached from an awesome program. Wofford has had a ton of success over the years and very well coached. And what Ryan is he's a gamer and he's a winner. He's a floor general. He's an extension of the coach, which is what I think the best point guards are. You give them, Skip Prosser used to say, you give a great point guard the ball at 7 at night, and they give it back to you safe and sound at 9. Ryan is a very good decision maker. He can score, and he's a tough, tenacious kid, man. I mean, I can't imagine there's somebody in the country that takes more charges than Ryan. I don't think that's a statistic that's kept, but he's a fearless competitor and tough as nails.
Coach, I was wondering if you run into teams that try to slow the tempo on you with the three-point game you have, and then the versatility among players, how can you pick your offense or pick the flow back up?
Yeah. I think we've shown throughout the course of this year playing very, very good opponents with much different styles. There's been, if you look at the caliber of opponent that we played, I mentioned Chattanooga, Richmond, Davidson, Colorado State, Virginia Tech, Kent State, all really good teams and really good programs, but they all play different styles. You have some teams in there that play a very fast pace. Colorado State comes to mind. I mean, they push the pace like we do. And then you've had some teams that are much more deliberate and slow the game down, less possessions. And I think we've shown that we've been able to win playing against different styles. I mean, obviously, anybody can see that we prefer an up-pace style because that's what we've always done. That's who we've always been. But if the game gets more in the half court, I think we have the type of toughness in toughness about us that we can sit down, guard in the half court and execute in the half court as well.
Coach, looking into January, you play in a really tough league, and it's gotten bigger over the summer or the spring, I guess, I think there's 12 or 13 teams in there now. Talk about some of the norms about the league that you might face that maybe haven't been there.
Well, we're smack dab in the middle of our pre-conference schedule, and I'm completely consumed with our team and the next opponent. I mean, I have unbelievable amount of respect for the caliber of coaching in our conference. Even, the new programs that maybe we're not as familiar with yet. I mean, in this business, obviously the coaching fraternity is really small, and all of the new programs that have come in, there's big time coaches in charge of those new programs that have come in as well. So conference play is always this way, but especially in the CAA, it's a dogfight every single night. And that's sure as heck what I expect when we get started with it here in several weeks.
Last thing, Coach Kelsey, you know, the NCAA tournament expansion is kind of a rumor, and I've been talking to people about this. I'm curious as to what your opinion would be of pushing up 68 teams if it's frugal, and then just in your thoughts, how you do that fairly for everybody.
Yeah. You know, I think that's probably beyond my pay grade to have a opinion on that, because I don't think about it enough.
Sure.
Obviously there's committees that are focused on that. There's probably coaches in our profession that have been assigned to part of that committee. And I'm sure that those people will make the best decision for our game. I trust that completely. I just know whether it's 64, 24, 174, I want to be one of them.
There you go.
I want to be one of them because it's one of the greatest spectacles in American sport. And the way it is right now is pretty darn good and pretty darn cool. If the powers that be decide that it's going to expand and be bigger, I'm sure that'll be great as well. I just know I want to be one of them.
Sure. Coach Pat Kelsey, the Charleston Cougars, the college at a beautiful place in the world. If you've never been to Charleston,
our city,
the city. There you go.
Our city,
your city.
No, you say it. Say our city. Just give me one.
Our city.
Our city. There you go.
It's
like Roll Tide. You know.
Roll. Oh yeah, Roll Tide. I got you. Hey, Coach, it's a pleasure. I definitely want you to be back on soon, and I wish you the best this season. I'll definitely be following the Colonial.
All right, Ken. Good talking to you, buddy. Thank you.
Good talking to you. Thank you.